This is Ivy Unleashed,
a Gold Ivy production. Welcome back to Ivy Unleashed. We are pumped to be together. I love you, Brooke. I'm so happy to be sitting with you. And one of the biggest reasons I'm happy to be sitting with you is because you are a very resilient woman.
Thank you.
And that's what this podcast is all about. And one of the biggest things that Brooke is resilient with is her health. She has been through it, we will say. And a big message of Brooke's that's resonated with people all over the world is what she's done to help heal her body. And a lot of it comes back to her gut health. And we were just talking about the word gut. It's like, I hate your guts is like what I always think of. But the gut is so important. And there's a lot of reasons why it's important. There's a lot of tips people are looking for. A lot of people are really, really struggling. And on TikTok, we went from a couple thousand followers to 77,000 followers quickly because Brooke had no makeup on. She was literally in her kitchen and just shared her story about seeing all these doctors and what she's done, just starting to like give some tips. And people were like, follow, because they just want to know how to heal themselves. So Brooke is here today. This is her walk-up song. I'm the walk-up song today. She's walking up to the mic to give the people what they want, and what the people want are gut health tips.
Okay, let me preface by saying if you've never struggled with gut health, with digestive symptoms, someday you will. Someone you know has or will. It's not only digestive symptoms. We're talking your mental health, your mood, your energy, your hormones are secreted in the gut. And so this is important for everyone. We talk to so many women who their hormones are out of whack. They're trying to balance these hormones. They can't poop, you name it. And so we thought it would be helpful to just give a million tips on gut health. And really it's a whole body approach here. We're talking tips on just total wellness, sharing what has helped me, what I share with my clients. Clearly it's resonated on TikTok. And these are things that I coach people on. And so we're going to give you an inside look and just share a million tips. So get out a pen and paper. These are things that have helped me over the past going on 7 years to regain my health back, figure out what the heck was going on. I was at the point where everything I ate upset my stomach. And we'll get into that of if that's you, what to do. But these are things that doctors didn't tell me. I saw over 50 doctors and they ran tests and they told me it was fine. And no one asked me about my diet. And if they did, it was follow the FODMAP diet, which that's a whole nother story. But they didn't ask me about my mental health and my stress levels or how my sleep was, the environment that I was in, because you cannot heal in the same environment that got you sick. And so I want to share just what I've learned. I want to preface again, I'm not a doctor. This is not medical advice. I always recommend discuss with your doctor, plug for functional medicine. If you struggle with gut health issues, it's chronic illness. It's not most of the time, not all the time, but it's not acute issues. And so finding a doctor, like a functional doctor, a naturopath, a holistic practitioner who's going to really take a deep dive, find the root cause, work with you with a whole body approach is really what you need. And so there's a million resources. There's so many things we can get into. We want to keep this, I don't want to say short, but I could talk about this for 5 hours. And so I'm just going to rattle off the things that have made the biggest difference. And I want to encourage you to reach out if you have questions. As comments, I'm always looking. I'm always here. Make sure you're following us on TikTok because I'm sharing daily on just random things I'm doing. Things that doctors didn't tell me that I really had to learn myself. So this is kind of a cheat code, a roadmap that I want to hand to you. And so that you can start implementing these things. A lot of these things are free. I'll talk about products and supplements, but know that there is no one solution. These are all things I've experimented with. And just because it worked for me doesn't necessarily it'll work for you, but it will help.
I do think when people hear certain things, some things feel overwhelming or foreign or far-fetched. And so tune into what feels like, oh, I could try that. Ooh, that would be an easy thing for me to do. Like, oh, I've been thinking about that. This is your cue to kind of tune in, like, what feels like maybe I should, and even if you don't have serious gut health issues yet, think about, implementing these things into your routines so that you are stressed less. You do have a diet that supports your gut health, because we don't know how good we can feel until we address all these things. You know, even me, I don't have a whole lot of gut health issues, so there's gonna be a lot of Brooke talking, but I've just been noticing things lately irritate my gut a little bit more than they did in the past, like wine or dairy. And so it's like, I can keep ignoring these things. I really can, and suffer the next day or suffer the next 4 hours of the day. But also I could do a little bit something about it so that I can feel much better in my day to day.
Yeah, it gets to a point where you're so sick and tired of being sick and tired that you're willing to do anything. Like, I choose to put coffee up my butt to heal, which we'll get into. But, you know, I get asked a lot of like, oh, how do you eat like that? And, oh, you know, that takes so much willpower. But this is 7 years of being depressed and feeling terrible and putting so much time and energy and money into gaining my health back that it is worth it. I've been at the other side of it where I didn't have my health, and I didn't want to die, but I didn't want to live that way. And so to help people see that they can feel better and that life is too short, you know, people listening, we're raising babies and families and trying to bring that dough in and excel in our careers. We do not have time to be sick. And so now as a female entrepreneur, like, this is my mission, is to help people feel better, because the way society is going, the way we eat, the way we don't sleep, the way we stress, illness is upon us. Like, we can't hide from it. Dis-ease is dis-ease in the body. And so you go to your doctor, that's time. Doctors are booked up now. And so how can we heal naturally, do some things to help ourselves out so that we don't have to waste the time and money and the energy that I did? So like Andrea said, it can be very overwhelming. So just pick what works, write it down, experiment with it. I love to look at this as you experiment and you see how your body responds, because your body will tell you what it likes and what it doesn't. The key is, are you willing to listen? Are you willing to slow down to hear? If you eat pasta and you feel like crap, your body's trying to tell you something. Is it worth listening to or is it not? That's your choice. But I just want to share some things that are really a lifestyle approach. And I like to break it down, and Andrew and I too, with all of our clients, into really 4 categories of lifestyle. It's sleep, it's food, it's exercise, and it's stress management. And starting with sleep, I think it's one of my favorites because it's easiest. Like, all you have to do is sleep. And the reason this is so important is because what happens when we sleep, our body repairs. We are resting. We are calming down. And so set your environment up for sleep. Like, that's the biggest thing here. We need quality sleep. And so, you know, 5 to 8 hertz. We're talking red light. We're talking sleepy time tea before you go to bed. Putting your phone away so you don't have that blue light, switching out your device for reading, comfy sheets, you know, really romanticizing. Cold environment.
Maybe a fan, maybe some white noise if you like that.
Yeah, something that made the world of difference for me in my healing journey is romanticizing these things. Instead of viewing it as I have to, I can't do this, it's okay, how can I get a cute coffee mug, put some tea in there, get excited about it, making it like a ritual. When we view it as deprivation, that's where the brain goes.
And something I think I'm gonna link, have Jeremy, our editor, link in the show notes, is this meditation that I love to fall asleep. I've even had Brooke do it the night before a marathon. My son loves it, and I've shared it with multiple friends that have loved this meditation. I think sometimes like having specific links to things is really helpful, and meditation can be overwhelming. But I think something people struggle with is falling asleep. You know, we go, and all of a sudden it's like, you're supposed to just sleep now. So this environment and looking forward to it, and the tea and the good book, or maybe the boring book, and the meditation to help train your brain, like, this comes next, and then this, and then this, and then we sleep. And that's not always easy right away. Like, your brain needs that repetitive nature over and over and over to get to the point like, oh, this is what's next. I sleep after I set down my book.
Yep. And think about it. You are expecting yourself, like, think of it as a car. You're going 70 miles per hour, and then all of a sudden you're done, and you're at a red light and you're stopped. Like, no, that's not how it works. You slow down. You have to wind down. You have to give yourself that time. And so set yourself up for success when it comes to sleep. Another reason sleep is so important is because when we don't have sleep, we have higher levels of certain hormones that make us have cravings, that reduce our willpower. And so it's harder to make good food choices, good movement choices. And so thinking about that, really getting into food, something that really helped me was following Dr. Will Cole. So he's a functional medicine doc that I love. He's a great podcast, and he talks about the core 4 of inflammatory foods. And so when your gut is so inflamed, like I said earlier, it's affecting your hormones, it's affecting your energy, your mood, your face, your skin. Continuing to add fuel on the fire isn't going to help. So this isn't a forever thing, and I want to say that again, this isn't a forever thing, but taking a break to allow your body to heal itself. In the right environment, your body's resilient. It was meant to heal. In the right environment, your body is resilient. It was meant to heal. I say this to myself all the time because it's so overwhelming. It's so frustrating. It's depressing. Fill in the blank. But if I choose and I say that to myself, okay, then by me doing all of these things, I can feel better. I can feel better. I can have the power to do things that will allow me to heal. And so these core 4 are refined seed oils. So things like canola oil,
vegetable oil.
So what you want to look for on processed foods or cook with, we're talking olive oil.
And you do want olive oil.
You do want olive oil, and you want to cook with avocado oil. Those are 2 really good ones. They're high in omega-3s, which have so many healing properties. They're great for your brain. These other seed oils are high in omega-6s, which are very inflammatory. You want to avoid dairy, gluten, and added sugar. Another big one is alcohol. Literally destroys your gut. It's a tough one. I'm not saying you have to. I'm just saying what helps.
No, the next day after having alcohol, I can just tell. Like, I notice if I have alcohol the next day, my stomach hurts during my run, and I know I have less energy. It's wild. Not even like hungover. I had like 2 beers or a glass of wine or whatever, and I can tell the next day, like, my energy source is low and my stomach hurts. Mm-hmm. And it does it with fried food, obviously, with these oils, and it does it with dairy.
Yeah. Think about sugar. Sugar feeds the bad bacteria in your gut. And so for me, when I finally figured out what was going on, and I'll get to the test that I had, but I had no good bacteria in my gut. And that was because I was dealing with parasites and an overgrowth of bad bacteria, things like strep and staph. And because I was eating so healthy, I basically was keeping myself alive. But if I would have had a bunch of sugar and these inflammatory oils and the gluten and the dairy, which can be high in sugar, it's just feeding these bad bacteria that are literally wreaking havoc on your body, causing you to feel so sick, inflaming your brain, causing depression and anxiety. And so, again, you're just taking a break to see how your body responds, because the minute you feel some relief, you're going to say, oh, this is worth it. And so, okay, what do we eat? Real whole foods. Real whole foods.
Foods that come from the earth.
Yes, minimally processed. So their whole nature, as close to their whole nature. And another thing that can be really helpful with these foods, so veggies, eating cooked versus raw. So it's easier to digest cooked and warm food instead of cold. So maybe salads don't really agree well with you. Try cooked carrots, cooked veggies. It's easier to digest. Probiotic-rich foods, foods that are going to heal your body. We need those probiotics. These are things like kefir. And I eat a lot of dairy-free yogurt and things that are probiotic-rich foods, prebiotic foods. Now, here's what I was mentioning earlier. If healthy foods upset your stomach, like probiotic-rich foods, you could have SIBO, which is what I had, which is small intestinal bacteria overgrowth. So overgrowth of bad bacteria. And I had that tested. So everyone is so different. There's levels. Some people, they just need to eat healthier foods.
Because the probiotics or that bacteria could be helping the bad bacteria grow even more.
Correct.
So you need to get rid of the bad bacteria first, and then you can have more probiotic-rich foods.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah. You want to kill the bad bacteria, and then there's the rebuilding phase.
And how do you kill the bad bacteria?
So I did antibiotics and then different herbal supplements to help, because when you do antibiotics, you also kill the good bacteria. Mm-hmm. So I worked with a functional practitioner, and I was on a specific protocol. I ate a specific diet. That was an 8-week protocol.
Super fun.
Super fun. But it made such a difference.
Yeah.
Because I went through 3 months of killing all these parasites, all these bad bacteria, and I felt better, but I still didn't feel 100.
Did you feel like you had energy?
No.
I was going to say, when you're only eating, you're not having a diverse range of food and probably no sauce on it, no seasoning.
But it made me feel good.
Yeah.
For the first time, my stomach didn't react to everything I ate. And some people, they have to nix grains and legumes, so beans and rice.
Yeah, I think just to circle back to what you said, I think it's so important to remember, like, this is temporary because I don't feel good, and this cycle is going to keep going until I really figure out what is going on. You're going to keep having acne. You're going to keep having pain, bloating, indigestion, lack of energy, brain fog. Like, that's not going to stop if you don't take this temporary halt on the types of foods that, we love to eat because they're tasty. And we live in America. I mean, not everybody, but a lot of the listeners live in America. And all we have is the ultra processed, really delicious, flavored processed foods.
Yeah, you think of ultra processed, it's man-made. It's chemicals. Your body doesn't know how to break it apart and digest it.
And it's so cheap though too. So it's like, God, I mean, there's so many barriers to it, but I mean, ultimately, if you feel like shit all the time, it's affecting everything. It's affecting your relationships with people, your ability to be successful, to feel good about yourself. Like, can you imagine like how many personal problems people have that could probably be solved by focusing on their gut health?
Yeah, because it was me. I had to mourn the loss of friendships and my social life. And I got to the point where eating out, it wasn't a social thing, a fun thing anymore because I felt like crap. And that's not worth it. And I worked with a coach, and I'll get into that later, of mindset shifts because your mind dictates everything, how you show up and how you view it.
And you're so young. Like, that's what you do. You go to bars and you go out to dinner. You don't have kids yet. So it's like fun to go out. Like, it's not that fun to go to a restaurant with kids right now for me. But like, you were in the prime of like college, post-college when all this went down.
And then you feel terrible. So then you keep drinking because it's temporary, numbs the pain. Like, it got to the point where I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic by any means or had a problem with alcohol, but it allowed me to feel good. And that's like a death trap. And I was living in Florida, not in a good relationship, dealing with all of these issues, broke because I was going to doctor, and they tell me everything looks fine. Your tests look good. You should be so happy. You're too young to feel this way. I'm like, I'm aware. I think I'm going to create a course for doctors to go through on things and not say to patients who are sick. Just a thought. Okay.
And it made you feel good, which is like what you're chasing.
Yeah.
So you just had to find like you said, mindset shift to find a new way to feel good, which, yeah, like that's on top of what you were doing, losing friendships and in an unhealthy relationship. Like, how isolating.
This is why you got to find your people. And I think as people are following us on TikTok, I'm like, yes, come. Like, I will help you. I'll hold your hand because I know how lonely it is. And I want to now create, and I have things that I wish I had, like the starter kit that I have and the coaching. Because yes, these doctors, they throw, like functional doctors, they give you resources and they give you supplements, but it's a total lifestyle shift. That's the psychology of behavior change, that they don't have the time, or I couldn't afford to work with, a coach that was trained in that because it is expensive. So how do we make this more affordable? Because a lot of functional medicine, it's not covered by insurance. So something that really made a difference for me dealing with all of this, because it took such a toll on my mental health, because your hormones and your happy, feel-good neurotransmitter hormones, so things like serotonin and dopamine, those receptors are secreted in the gut. So a lot of times if you're battling depression and anxiety, taking steps to improve your gut health is going to immensely impact your mental health in a positive way. So movement, and this is why I'm so passionate about Move with Gold Ivy, is because movement has never let me down. Anytime I felt so depressed, I didn't know where to go, food kept letting me down, I viewed food as medicine and it still wasn't helping, movement always made me feel good. And so specific type of movements, stretching, yoga, Pilates, slow, feel-good movements, HIIT, high energy, high intensity, cardio. It's too much stress on the body.
When you're not feeling well.
When you're not feeling well, when your body needs its resources, its energy to heal, focus on slow, feel-good movement, and that also involves strength training. So a fun fact I learned, when you strength train, when you're building muscle, it creates butyrate. This is why fiber is so important. I was literally just telling Andrea this. So when you eat fiber, the good bacteria in your gut breaks down the fiber and transforms it into butyrate. And this butyrate is like food for the good bacteria, what we call prebiotics. If you've ever seen prebiotics or an ad for prebiotic, that's what the good bacteria in your gut eat. And so this is important for lowering inflammation, for digestion, for literally fill in the blank. You need this. This is like your gut superpower is producing this butyrate. So strength training does that. Fun fact. Also walking. Walking is so important. Walking after you eat helps with digestion. And also walking first thing in the morning so you get morning sun. This is wild, and I've said it on the podcast before and in videos and posts, but we have a circadian rhythm, right? You know, at night, the sun goes down, you get sleepy. Well, your gut bacteria also does. And so when you
bacteria goes to bed. Good night, bacteria.
So when you are walking in the morning, your gut bugs are waking up, and these bugs are needed for literally everything. So if you can get morning sun, it's going to help your mental health. It's going to help your digestion, your gut health, fill in the blank. So that's just a fun little tip.
So powerful punch is the movement in the morning. You get that vitamin D, wake all the good stuff up. You're feeling good because you're moving.
You're getting strength training. You're getting yoga. You're getting Pilates. You're walking. You are a Move with Gold Ivy member. This is why we've created it. And so movement also helps with stress. So anytime I went to the doctor for digestion issues in the beginning, and this, we're talking modern medicine, right? So I'd see a GI doctor. I would see my OB. I'd go to urgent care, and they would tell me, oh, your tests look normal. It came back as stress. And yes, stress did affect it, but they didn't tell me why. And I would say, well, of course I'm freaking stressed because I don't feel good. You are causing me stress. And
but would they give you tips to de-stress or like dive deeper? I mean, obviously they're not a psychologist, but like.
No. They would tell me to do the FODMAP diet, which is eliminating certain types of sugars from your diet. They would tell me to see a GI doctor, which I did. I did the whole colonoscopy, endoscopy. One OB told me to go to a pain management clinic. So talk about just like messing with your head, right? I completely lost my voice and my trust in myself of like, is this in my mind? Am I going wild? I mean, yeah, I was, because of how long it took me to figure it out. And the reason this is so important and that stress affects your gut is because when your body is in a fight or flight, a sympathetic nervous system, it cannot heal. Your body is pumping oxygen and blood to your muscles to run away, for your mind to think clearer. And we have a 2 million-year-old brain. It doesn't know the difference between stress from work or money or illness and being chased by a saber-toothed tiger. Mm-hmm. And so to calm your nervous system, it is so important, because what we're doing when we're doing that, when we're relaxed, when you're not in this stressed, rushed state, is you're in a parasympathetic nervous system, also called rest and digest. Right, so this is why it's so important, and I've shared tips on TikTok and Instagram, like take 3 deep breaths before you eat to tap yourself into that parasympathetic nervous system. Meditate daily. Do something for 10 minutes that doesn't have you in a super rushed state so that your body can heal.
Yeah, I mean, we live in a rushed state. Mm-hmm. Like, it's just, you get up and you go, and your kids, you gotta get them ready, you gotta get them to school, gotta get to work, gotta get as many emails done as you can until you have to pick up your kids. Or, you know, even if you don't have kids, it's like you want to get the maximum amount done Monday through Friday so you can relax on the weekends. And then you have Sunday scaries, you know, like all the, like this cycle.
But you're not relaxing on the weekends.
Right. Like it needs
it never
to
comes.
Be, right. And so I think just acknowledging like the way we all live, especially in America, is a rushed state. Mm-hmm. And so you do have to go against the grain to learn to slow down. Like me quitting my corporate job was the best thing that I could have done, because now I can do things with ease and my brain can think. Like I can like think about taxes now. Like before I was like, I don't got time for that. Like there's so many things I felt like I didn't have time for because there was just too much on my plate. And I know that's a very privileged thing. Like with my husband's income and our Gold Ivy income, like I'm able to survive and we are fine. I know not everybody can just quit their job, but I realized like things that were very important, I could not make time for. There just wasn't enough minutes in the day without sacrificing something really important like sleep or social activities or being present with the people around me. I was constantly thinking of the next thing I should be doing when I'm like trying to sit here and look at my little 5-year-old who's trying to tell me what she wants for dinner. You know, like it's just, I think we're just so used to it. We don't even realize how much we're rushing. Like we're thinking of the next 3 things while we're doing the thing. Like you're never doing the thing. Like you're missing your life.
Yeah. Especially as entrepreneurs, you know, even moms, anyone listening, but specifically those people that are trying to do big things. They think, okay, I'll relax when I get there. And if you don't make time for your wellness, you will make time for your illness. It is a famous quote. I wish I could give whoever credit because it's brilliant and it's true. And what both of us want to do is show people that you can be successful on your own terms without sacrificing your well-being. Because if you don't carve out 5 minutes or 10 minutes of your day, you swap out scrolling or watching reality TV for actually calming your nervous system or chopping some veggies so you can eat something healthier or listening to a meditation, you're creating that peace within you. And that's true freedom. That's what we're all after.
And we do have things we have to get done, but something that I think is really powerful when you're thinking about your day and you're always thinking you could do more. I think naturally we just know we could have done more. Like I don't know, that's how my brain works. Instead of, you know, if you've got your to-do list like on an Excel or on a piece of paper, instead of just deleting what you did, strike through it. If you strike through it, you can see like, I know I feel like I could do more, but wow, I really did a lot today. Like, and even the things that are just like, God, it's got to be done. Like I got to take out the trash or I got to, you know, whatever. Like it is taking up your time and you are doing a lot. Like nobody's really just sitting around doing nothing. Like we are very productive people. And you got to give yourself some credit that these things that Brooke's talking about, they're productive because they're preventing you from being in the doctor's office with 50 different doctors. Like you're going to run this rat race of trying to figure out what's going on if you don't take this time, like Brooke's saying, to calm your nervous system. It's how you interact with the world. If you're not in a calm state, you're not even yourself.
Yeah. It's important, yes, to show yourself you're being productive. The story you are telling yourself, it matters. And the story you also need to be telling yourself is that rest is productive. That was the biggest mindset shift I had to make that allowed me to heal, to feel good. Because it was almost like one more doctor, one more supplement, one more diet shift. I was doing. And that was causing me to be even sicker. When I just relaxed and said, okay, maybe it's not one more supplement. Maybe there isn't a magic pill, a magic diagnosis. Maybe it's actually giving my body the chance and the space to heal and to get out of my own damn way. And that is so, so tough, especially like you're saying in today's society when it is go, go, go. And we have a million things that we can be doing. Being type A, I love crossing things off that to-do list. But also, is that how I want to live my life? And I find myself daily saying that of, yes, these are all so important and they're allowing us to live our dream life and to build and to chase. But what about this moment? Like, that's growth. As I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, whoo, man. Like, now I'm obsessed with, okay, how can we hold space for it all so that I can feel good and enjoy the big moments? because in the beginning of this journey with Gold Ivy Health Co., I was still sick. I still didn't feel good. And so we'd hit these milestones and I'd be like, yeah. And then I go home and be like, oh my gosh, it's 4:00 and I'm exhausted and I'm still full-time job of figuring my health out. So I just want to encourage everyone that's listening, that's struggling, or they know someone that's struggling, is to give yourself permission to slow down. And if you can't, like I am telling you as someone who is still healing and has come so far, that you have to, because life is too short to live it sick. And this involves scheduling in play and joy. And we're so excited that this is a part of our ultimate reset because it is so important. What are things that you enjoy doing that you don't view as work? Are you making time for those things? Are you playing? Saturday night I was at a wedding and we just danced. I was like, this is everything. Like I had so much peace because I was doing things that I enjoy doing and I wasn't crossing things off.
Nothing is better than a dance floor when you're celebrating love. It's like putting like this emotional piece and this physical piece together. It's just pure magic. Just like a dance floor. Oh my gosh. I convinced my neighbors that we're all going to have a reception because we didn't get to go to each other's receptions because we were all married by the time we came here. And we're all, if you want to wear your wedding dress, you can. Hell no, I'm going to wear something I can dance in. But we're going to have a DJ and celebrate because it's so magical. And I love that you hinted on this, but I just had an epiphany of everything you and I do is to create a sustainable way to enjoy your life. Mm-hmm. It's having a podcast where we can talk about these small steps to help you thoroughly enjoy your life. It's creating a virtual workout platform, Move with Gold Ivy, so that you can be fit, but enjoy it. Mm-hmm. Have fun while you're doing it. Make it so there can be little 10-minute workouts so that you feel like it's doable, or slower workouts for people that are having gut health issues, right? I've been on a lot of other podcasts talking about motherhood and how you want to enjoy it. Like, this is fleeting. Like, the years that they're going to be with you are, 18 years. Mm-hmm. And it's a sucky thing to think about. And I also hate that whole, scare the shit out of people because you only have 18 years. But it's like, you want to enjoy it as much as you can.
And be present.
Right. And so it's so much about, showing your kids that it's okay to slow down. And we need to have fun. We need to, rejuvenate ourselves. Go mm-hmm. activities. Kids get burned out too. And so they can turn to screens, that's survival sometimes, but also you need that time to get some really good sleep mm-hmm. and to talk about your feelings. And I know that's a big piece of this too with gut health and healing is so much about that release of how you're feeling. Release your anger, release your sadness, release your resentment, allow people to feel because so much of that gets trapped. And if I use Brooke as an example with my daughter, one of my daughters really struggles to express herself until she's physically mm-hmm. blotchy because she's held it in. And I'll be like, if you don't release these feelings, I can tell you're having them, you're going to be chronically sick and this is going to be really hard for you to come out of this. And so I just think what Brooke and I are trying to create is to make this sustainable and doable. You don't have to do all of these mm-hmm. things. Just the next thing to help you feel more calm and like yourself and that you can have fun and enjoy whatever you're doing.
Mm-hmm. It causes so many emotions. You're going through something that is unique because your body, your situation is unique. And I would get so in my head about it because people didn't understand. And finally, I got to the point where it's not their journey to understand. And that was freedom. That was me being okay, being the girl that says, can I have this sandwich with no bun and no sauce and this instead of this? And instead of saying sorry and having to explain myself, it was, if I want to feel good and be present with the people I'm with, I'm choosing to eat this way. It's not that I can't have it. It's that I'm choosing to feel good and getting those emotions out of me. Taking care of my mental health. That was journaling. That was meditating. It was crying. It was going for a walk. It was leaning on
therapy,
my support, therapy. And, the other night I was putting fennel oil and I was putting all of these different essential oils on my thyroid gland and underneath my chin and on my wisdom teeth because now they think the parasites are getting into my wisdom teeth. My boyfriend's looking at me watching football. what are you doing? I'm just rubbing some essential oils on my wisdom teeth sockets. He said, do you ever feel like you just have so many things? Because I do. I have the randomest little healing techniques. I said, how do you think I feel in my head? Trying to remember all of these things. You walk a mile in this torn apart, trying to heal body, and then we'll talk. And I think him saying that would have triggered me like a few months ago or a year ago. But because I understand, like, how would he get it? He's never walked, but that doesn't mean I can't share how I'm feeling. You know, like I remember the first time when I was going through the SIBO treatment, we've been together 4 years. In the beginning, like I was so good at holding it together and I couldn't eat. And he's like, you have to eat. And I'm like, I just broke down. I was like, I literally can't. And we just sat there and cried. Like he just held me. And I was like, oh. And so like finding those safe places and those people are so important because it's so isolating. It's so depressing. And unfortunately, modern medicine and what we can afford, it doesn't provide you that. Mm-hmm. And so if this is you, life is too short to feel like crap. And I'm here and I just want you to know that. And here's some other things that you can do. Get tested to know exactly what's going on in your body. Functional medicine, mentioned it earlier, a lot of it isn't covered by insurance, but some is now, and it's getting a lot better. HSA can handle it. And so someone that we recommend is Hannah Newman. She's been on the podcast. We've both worked with her. Her Instagram handle is Healthy with Hannah, healthy with an I, and she will run all of these tests. So the test that really helped me figure out what the heck was going on, showing me it wasn't all in my head, was a GI map test. And if you have a functional doc or someone else to work with, you can ask them to run this test. But that showed parasites and bad bacteria, and it gave me a foundation of what I was really working with, so I knew exactly what to do.
I tested with her too, and just because I think sometimes people think these doctors are trying to find things, so you buy their supplements. She talked to me and I was like, I don't know, but I feel like I should be on a probiotic. And she's like, after what you told me you eat, why would you think that, like, you're having Greek yogurt almost every day. Mm-hmm. Why would you think you need a probiotic? And I was like, I don't know. I thought I just did. And she's like, no, you have a super healthy gut. You don't have any digestive issues. You don't need any supplements. You're fine. And I was like, oh. So she's not trying to just like sell things. She's trying to help people have this roadmap of how to heal whatever is going on in there.
Yeah. And I had one of my clients do testing with her, and a lot of the things she recommended are free. They're not supplements. It's manage your stress and get better sleep. A lot of these things that we're talking about. And so just knowing, because if you do have an overgrowth of bad bacteria, if you do have a parasite, you do have to take steps, or it's just going to keep going and causing you to be sicker and sicker. So that would be a big recommendation. So it's kind of like alternative medicine we're getting into. Acupuncture really, really helped me. Chiropractor. I've done muscle testing, which is just bananas. It's like your body tells you if it likes it or it doesn't based on your strength. I could talk about that for hours. It's what I'm doing right now, and it's pretty cool. Craniosacral therapy. It's like getting all this trapped trauma and illness out of my body. Bioenergy testing is something I did. Sensitivity testing to see exactly what foods were causing sensitivities in me, because if not, you might not need to eliminate it or take a break from it. This is a new one for me that I'm really excited about. It's called grounding or earthing. You literally just barefoot in the grass, in the earth, and the electrical charge of the earth heals your body. It sounds so woo-woo-y, but just look it up. Mm-hmm. You'll be fascinated.
If you live by a beach, get in that sand by the water.
Yes. So that, coffee enemas, talk to your practitioner. Don't recommend it without talking to someone. But the reason that works is because it upregulates a chemical that your body naturally produces called glutathione, and that's your natural detoxification method. With that being said, if you're not pooping or sweating every day, that's such an easy place to start, because you need to get those toxins out of your body. With that, infrared sauna, I love that. That helps a lot. Cold plunging. And then fasting, another easy thing that you can do. Again, it's not for everyone, but the beauty of fasting and why it's recommended is this thing called autophagy. It's basically when your body doesn't have to spend energy on digesting and breaking down food, it can go up and clean house. So we're talking about when we say, given the right environment, your body can heal itself. So fasting, start with a 12-hour fast. You don't eat between the hours of 8 p.m. and 8 a.m. Just see what you notice. Extend it a little. See what you notice. And so, okay, test to run, GI map test. Again, test everything in your gut. You can get tested for SIBO. I recommend that. Food sensitivities, vitamin deficiencies. When you have poor gut health, these vitamin levels can be low because you're not absorbing the nutrients that your body needs. I just want to plug a few supplements. This is not an ad for anything. This is not saying that you should be on these supplements, because I recommend all of these things over supplements. Over protein powders, over protein bars, all these things that your body doesn't know how to break down. And so the natural form, natural healing remedies are great, but supplements, if you need them, if you want to experiment, if you want to talk to your doctor about it, pre, pro, postbiotic, help the good bacteria in your gut thrive. A digestive enzyme before you eat is super important to break down the food you're eating so you can absorb it. We both love chlora. Different herbs that have healing properties, turmeric, ginger, teas that I drink on the regular, peppermint, fennel, ginger, apple cider vinegar helps to kill the bad bacteria, kind of clean house. Aloe vera juice is super soothing on the gut. Make sure it says inner fillet. We have all of these linked on our Amazon storefront. And so if that would be helpful, check it out in the show notes. We'll be sure to link that. And then this is something I wanted to chat about. I'm reading all my notes here because I have so many things, is constipation.
Ooh, let's
because
get into
the
it.
girlies on TikTok go wild.
And before you even get into this, a lot of the trolls that come after Brooke on TikTok will say things like, yep, I've got a liver and kidneys to detoxify. Don't need that, Brooke. And it's like, right. And your body, good for you.
Good for you.
Your body's working the way it's supposed to. Like, that's awesome. And again, everything Brooke's saying too, talk with your physician about it. Talk with, do your research, sure. But some people's bodies aren't working the way they need to be working. They need some extra help, or they're fighting against something like a parasite. Yeah. And so, like you said, you have deficiencies you're unaware of, and that's why you have no energy. And so, yes, a lot of people, they don't have to try these things. But there's clearly a lot of people that want the tips and want to try something.
Those are my people.
And a lot of people want to know how to poop.
Yeah. But don't we all? The thing with pooping, we think it's normal to poop every 3 days. It's not. You need to be pooping daily. You got to get that out of you. You're going to feel so much better. So here's some things. Kiwis. 2 kiwis a day.
Ooh.
Just trust me.
Yum.
Magnesium citrate. Instead of Miralax or laxatives, try magnesium citrate before bed. Your body does not become reliant on it like it does laxatives or Miralax. So try that. Up your fiber. A lot of us are not getting enough fiber because we're not eating enough fruits or veggies. When you up your fiber, you need to up your water intake. And a lot of us are not drinking enough water as it is. So up your water.
If you have too much fiber without water, you'll get constipated.
You get plugged up. So eat whole real foods for your fiber, not things like Benefiber or supplement. Like raspberries have a bunch of fiber, fun fact. So there's a lot of food that you can easily add in that are just going to help uptake that. Some doctors recommend 28 grams I've seen. Just be intentional about it. It'll help you poop. Movement and managing stress. Your body isn't going to be relaxed to poop when you're so stressed.
Like, think about it. When a lot of people go on vacations, it's fun, but you're out of your environment. Mm-hmm. So you're a little bit more stressed or on edge because you're trying to stay safe and lock the door and think about what language you're speaking. Do you have enough money for the thing? So a lot of people, they go on vacation and they never poop. I was in Japan. I've never had this problem. I was in Japan. It was like, oh my gosh, it's been a couple days. That's never happened to me.
Yeah. So just pack some magnesium citrate, some Smooth Move tea. Take it at night. In the morning, get some coffee, do a nice little meditation, maybe get up a little earlier so you can have some time in the bathroom.
Get a walk in after you eat.
Walk in. Help your body help itself. So that's on constipation. Follow us on TikTok if you want some more. And then lastly, it's a mind-body approach. And so I worked with a functional doctor, but I also worked with Catherine, our coach, who we always talk about, because a lot of this was mindset shifts of I can heal. And after years and years of being turned away and trying this and trying that, I thought this was my reality forever. And so it was rewiring my brain, believing in my ability, all of these things that our behavior change and going against the norm in a society that it's not normal to talk about these things. No one's talking about them. I think it's getting a lot better. But stress is so detrimental to our gut health, but just our being. And so I would definitely encourage you to seek out a coach, seek out emotional support, therapy. It's what I wish I had from the beginning. It would have made such a difference.
And such like the easiest thing I keep thinking of is Brooke loves getting messages from people and figuring out what, like where you're at, what would be the most helpful thing to kind of get you started, whether it's like her starter kit, whether it's just like asking her a question, like, how did you find who was covered, insurance covered functional? Like, how'd you find that? What search engine do you use? You know, like these random things that you're thinking and you're wondering, like, you can message us. Like, we would love to hear from you. We want to help you. We don't want you stuck. Like Brooke is like, come to me. I wish I had me. And so let her help you out.
Yeah. I put together this starter kit because it's like, if I was just starting, what would I want? Knowing what I know now. And because it is so overwhelming and you don't feel well and you're trying to figure it out. And is it this? Is it that? And so whatever you're dealing with, whether it's acne or digestion or constipation or fatigue, brain fog, those are two big ones for me. Working on your gut is going to make such a difference. And so my starter kit is literally a roadmap of things I wish I had, including lifestyle tools and a 4-week eating plan, my go-to food, favorite recipes, different practitioners that I follow. So we'll link that in the show notes. It's a really great place that I just like people to start because I could share a million things, but I don't want to overwhelm you. And so reach out to us on socials, get the starter kit. No, like Andrea said, I'm so happy to help. Life's too short.
Thank you, Brooke, for walking us through, you know, not only just like tips, because that's very helpful, but just your story to be like, okay, like I can see myself in this, or my friend that needs help, or like, oh, my friend's been depressed lately, like maybe they need some tips for their gut health. And so, you know, sharing this episode with people to empower them, or use a tip yourself to feel like I have agency over my health. Like I feel like I've tried some things and nothing's working. Like, don't give up. Like your life is so valuable and you are so needed here. And sometimes you feel so low and like there is just like everything's so expensive or hopeless. And like, this is to give you hope. And if you need someone to hold your hand, it's Brooke. That's why she's talking about everything. So know that you can do something and you are not alone in this process.
Yeah. You're moving towards health and feeling good. And that is what you are focusing on, one step at a time. It's not about restricting. It's not about feeling stuck, because we just gave you a million tips. And the first one is you listening to this and taking the time to feel better. And so I just want to encourage you to take one thing. I'm going to give you 3 gold stars right now. So maybe take one of those 3 and reach out if you need me. The first one is to take a break from inflammatory foods. This is so important because we got to reduce that inflammation in your body so it can heal, removing that fuel from the fire. So those core 4, gluten, dairy, added sugar, refined seed oils. Second one is add in some healing foods. Some warm, cooked veggies, whole real foods, things like turmeric, ginger, teas, things that are going to help soothe and allow you to feel good. And the third one is focus on eliminating stress. I don't like the word eliminating because stress is normal. It's what keeps us alive. And so just think about stress as, okay, what can I do 10 minutes a day where I don't feel like I'm in a rushed state? Whether it's a meditation, whether it's a walk.
It feels easy to do this thing, and I tend to feel better when I do it.
Yes.
And it is different for everyone. It doesn't have to be even the things we said or what are good. Like, you like to crochet, you get that crochet needle out, you get crocheting. No judgment. If it makes you feel good and relaxed and calm, that's what we're talking about.
So I'll say it again, your piece of gold. You are your own best doctor and the expert of your well-being. Are you willing to listen to what your mind and body are trying to tell you?
This is Gold Ivy signing off.
Listen to your truth and go chase your gold.